Harvey Weinstein pleaded not guilty to 4 counts of rape and 7 other sexual assault counts. Fox 11's Susan Hirasuna has the story.
Thank you very much, sir. The only words Harvey Weinstein spoke in his short arraignment in Superior Court Wednesday. His appearance mostly blocked by his attorneys as they announced their intent to challenge 3 of the 7 counts of rape and sexual assault facing him.
They've alleged a time period between 2004 and 2005. That's clearly barred by the statute of limitations because that was brought well beyond any reasonable interpretation of a 10-year statute of limitations.
Mark Worksman went on to say with a fair trial, his client will be acquitted.
You have to understand that these charges stem from allegations that were made years and years ago. They are not corroborated by any scientific forensic evidence, by any credible, reliable evidence to support the allegations.
Attorney Gloria Allred represents 2 of the 5 women in LA County's complaint against the former movie mogul.
But I can assure you, it is not necessary to have forensic evidence in order for this case to be proven. The idea that none of these witnesses have any corroboration, I'll just say I would take very strong issue with that.
Weinstein was extradited to Los Angeles from New York Tuesday, where he was serving a 23-year sentence for rape and sexual assault on 2 women. His attorneys fought the extradition due to his failing health.
Your Honor, I've submitted a request for medical evaluation.
The judge granted that request.
This is a very important time for our movement.
Angela Rose at the sexual assault survivor support group PAVE.
For a lot of survivors, it does take a long time for us to come forward to talk about it.
Rose and her group support a couple of Weinstein's alleged victims, including Larissa Gomes, who released this video over the weekend.
4 years ago, I came out with my story about Harvey Weinstein, which happened to me about 20 years ago. And so I'd been carrying this around with me for 20 years.
Well, for clarity, Larissa Gomes claims that Harvey Weinstein sexually harassed and terrorized her, frankly, in Toronto. So she's not a part of the LA case. Weinstein and his attorneys will be back in court next Thursday. They want to get at least 3 counts dismissed.
Susan, can you dive a little bit deeper into the medical concerns of Harvey Weinstein and what role that has played as far as getting him to this day in court in Los Angeles?
Well, the attorneys were arguing against having him extradited to Los Angeles, to California, in part because he was receiving medical treatment for his eye, his left eye. Apparently he's going blind. So he has a doctor in Buffalo, New York, that was treating him. Here in Los Angeles, the sheriff's department assured the judge in New York that he would get the proper treatment here. The attorneys, of course, for him are a little circumspect about that, but as you heard in the courtroom, they made sure that there was at least a medical evaluation and that they do, of course, follow suit with the idea of giving him the kind of medical attention that he needs.
And Susan, last question for you. We heard from attorney Gloria Allred just a little bit there out of that press conference. Are we hearing from any of these victims of Weinstein? What is their reaction to all of this?
She said that she was in the courtroom this morning to represent her 2 clients. So she represents 2 of the women, the Jane Does, part of the LA County complaint. She said both of them are out of state, so she was there to represent them. She said that some other journalist said to her, oh, when you walked in, Harvey Weinstein looked at you, was kind of staring at her. She didn't notice it. She was just told this. But for sure, he's well aware of her and her reputation. She was a part of the New York case, and she was in the courtroom often when he was being prosecuted in New York.
Yeah, and it seems like he was well aware of the placement of your camera, too. As you said in your story, we only got little glimpses of Harvey today in court, but I'm sure you're going to be following this story until the very end of it. Susan, thank you so much for joining us here on Live Now from Fox. We'll be following up with you on this story and more.